or if you guys can even hear that. Um, Last night, I wrapped up horsing around at the gym because no one was there for some reason, and then I just wanted to drink some milk. So I head over to Walmart, and as I'm parking in, there's this other white SUV parking in just right opposite to me. I get out, bunch of dudes just jam packed in there, and I guess they wrapped up baseball practice. Um, I don't know what it is with this younger generation, man, but dudes are they're like looking they look older. They looked older than me, it felt like. But we walked in the Walmart. It took them like 2 minutes, and one of them was like, "Yo, he needs a loyalty shirt." And I'm like, "Loyalty shirt." Oh, not gonna lie, it goes hard. It goes hard. But I wouldn't have had the like ability to tell a story like that, or even experience all of that, making new buddies, even if it's just briefly. Um, if I didn't just get out of my own way finally and just approach people that intrigue me, like I did as a kid. Um, and that problem or that fact, I feel like is a thing for a lot of guys. I sometimes will see just out in public, um, and also while I was at high school and middle school, and having this reawakening, like over the last week, I realized just um, how different things can be if you just trust yourself. If you just follow that curiosity of yourself that points you in the direction of something that makes you nervous, you just keep going despite feeling that way. And it's always when you overcome those moments of yourself, and the maybe the last minute doubt you have, the nerves, the your heart pounding in yourself. If you continue to go forward despite that, um, that is what builds character for you. That's what that's what gives you experience. That's what gives you like an edge, if you will, with being able to prove to yourself that you can you can still be fine after approaching something with zero plan. And so that's a problem. It's just like how much we apparently have to plan everything. Like we need to know exactly how the next day looks. Um, we need to know well what we're supposed to be doing 10 months into a new business venture. Apparently, um, we need to know exactly what the perfect date looks like. Um, and and that idea of like needing to plan forward all of these things all the time, um, led me to um, avoiding and procrastinating on just doing what's natural for a man, which is approaching and inserting yourself into situations that make you curious. I I fell into that trap of like thinking I needed looks max or thinking that I needed to gym max, um, and like increase my income substantially before I can even consider going out on a date. What all of that, what all of that is telling. you, if you're in that boat as well, and I know there's a lot of guys out there, and I really hope eventually reaches those types of people, is it's telling you that you aren't good enough. If you can't even bring yourself to talk to a girl that you're attracted to, and instead of spending your time doing things spontaneous like that, you're instead just doing the same gym routine every single day. You're supposed to wake up at the same time every single day, uh, take cold showers every single day. Apparently, that builds character, builds discipline. One thing I came to conclusion with, especially after moving out, which I recommend people do, is it's very easy to realize just how boring any type of routine out there is like. If your job has you having to do the same exact things at the same exact time every single week, I understand you gotta pay bills, but you wonder why so many people are trying to switch jobs. It's because now more than ever, thanks to the internet, it's more known that you can pivot. There's so many directions you can go now. And with all of these other options or whatever, there goes um, the decision paralysis of having all these different things. But with with just putting yourself in a routine, you'll notice very quickly how boring it can be, even if for some reason it's making you healthy. It's making me healthy, trying to build muscle and get leaner. Um, Nutrition's kind of a different story, but when I moved into this apartment, it took only 2 weeks of waking up, supplement stacking, working out, eating Dominoes. It took me 14 days of that straight before I felt almost the exact same as I was like 3 years ago. Still living with my parents and working what I thought was a good job, um, and playing video games outside of that, drinking all the time. It, those things, it's not bad on its own. It's just that, like, when you're able to just conveniently put yourself into that same cycle every single day, that is when you turn into just like one of those walkers outside. Just you, I I didn't think I was this, but I literally I was just a zombie at that point, just doing the same thing over and over and over. It conditions you to think that that's a good thing, that that's what you should be doing. The thing that I the thing that then made sense for me at that point, finally realizing that after all this self improvement, I still felt alone and hollow, is it had nothing to do with the self improvement, had nothing to do with these things. The times where I felt the most alive in the self improvement cycles that I put myself is when I added something new, when I changed something and adjusted something, made it different. That is when I felt alive. That's when things were exciting again. So if that's the case, what if every day could be that, where it there's at least one novelty, one different thing that you incorporate that you're not in any way experienced with, but you just do it because in the moment that you find yourself in whatever circumstance or environment you're in, you just feel like doing it. You feel nervous about it. Your heart will probably be pumping about it too. But if you just do it, those little spontaneous moments is what really just what life is about. And I just know deep down that a lot of guys out there are 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 still believing that lie that you need to be just like all the other guys out there with a house and a car. Um, you need to go to the gym, at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times a week, doing the same workouts to maintain. I was a prime example of one of those guys, essentially, that just you look like you take care of yourself, but you you're boring as hell. You're boring as hell. And no wonder uh, I despite having what I had at that point, built what I built for myself physically, um, people didn't want to be around me. It's because I wasn't being what a man is at that point. Someone who just can trust his nature, can trust himself in any circumstance. When you have somebody like that around you physically, it's hard not to want to get to know them or to just simply be around them, honestly. And in general, just yeah, that's that one thing I just wish I knew in middle and high school was just you grow so much by falling over. You grow so much by having awkward situations with girls. You grow so much by failing. And it's like we're conditioned that someone shouldn't fail. They should only succeed. If you can only succeed, that in itself is a routine. That is if you can consistently succeed, there's no opportunity for you to fail. And apparently that's what's ideal. How is that even fun? So, one thing that has really helped me is instead of seeing a failure or an outcome that's seemingly negative, the the win is you simply putting yourself in an opportunity to fail or succeed. If you approach that girl despite how you feel in the moment, not how you feel, despite what you're thinking up in here, telling yourself otherwise, but you feel like you want to approach her, do it. You know what you want. Just approach it and figure it out. It will fail. It'll probably be weird, but nobody's going to die. Just make sure you don't get put on the registry for whatever you do. Maybe, but even me just saying that was an example of the world telling you something. It's every time you fail, you get more confident because what you're doing is you're creating an experience and evidence that you can approach something without a plan and still be alive. And as humans talking and communicating with other people, it's not something you can theorize. We're not robots with a terminal where you have a password, you type into it, and there you hacked it. It doesn't work like that with us. You just gotta be that time old saying that almost any girl's gonna tell you, be you. Be who you are. How can we be who we are if what we've been told to be for decades or years is not who we actually are? So, one thing that I really recommend is if you had a good childhood, if you had a childhood like mine where you could go outside every day, knock on your neighbor's door, ask your friend's parent who opens that door if you can hang out with that friend. If you had that childhood, you'd understand probably how much different you are to them. I bet you don't even know your neighbor's name. I got Michael over here. Dude who's had a few fights in his life and has won every single fight. Be a kid again. Have fun. Chase the things that you're interested in, that you're nervous about, despite the nerves. And I promise you, you will feel you'll feel like you have that rose tinted lens all over again. That you think about what your childhood looked like. Anyway, I gotta I got another meeting I gotta jump to. So I hope you guys enjoy this. You'll be seeing me around a lot more often. Take care.